Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today we're going to talk about $600 for your preps. What you can do with that $600 for your preps. With $600, guys, you can do some serious damage. Yes, it is not the $2,000 that Trump was trying to get us, or you guys, but nonetheless, you could still do some serious damage with $600. Now, I get it that a lot of people are not going to use that $600 towards their preps. There are probably other things you're going to need to pay off for, like rent, maybe your car insurance, maybe your car note, whatever it is. I get it. But if you can afford to put that $600 away, then put it away. But if you are squared away and you want to build your preps, you can do some heavy damage with $600 and your preps. That being said, it sucks that, but people were going to get $2,000. Or at least that was the idea, and then they settled for $6,000. Nothing says fuck you to the American people other than $600 out of the billions that they gave other countries. But nonetheless, that's a political discussion that's neither here or there anymore, because now everyone's getting $6,000. Like I said before, $600, man, even $300, you could do some serious damage. But it also depends on where you live. You got to keep that in mind. If you live in New York City or Hawaii, California, $600 could still go a long way. But if you can only spare $100 or $200, it might not go that far, because food here, for example, is pretty expensive. Whereas you went to a rural area in Arkansas or Wisconsin or Montana, you probably pay a lot less in the same foods that I would buy here. Though the object of the game is to buy in bulk. If you buy in bulk, you're definitely going to stretch that $600 out. Hence, the amount of damage, good damage, that you can do to your preps, or adding to your preps with the $600, $300, hell, even $100. You could do some serious damage. So, for starters, what to do with your $600? I would say join one of those bulk club companies like Costco's, Sam's Club, BJ's. If you live near a city, there's a place called Restaurant Depot. Now, Restaurant Depot, I don't know if they changed their rules, but you had to have a business. So for a lot of you to have an LLC for whatever it is, you just use your tax ID number and you can access Restaurant Depot. And Restaurant Depot is where restaurants go to get a lot of their goods, right? So, and smaller restaurants, not big chain, but more smaller restaurants, the mom and pops, they'll go to a place like Restaurant Depot and you can get a ton of food, you can get a ton of meat, seafood, and then you can get gear, like kitchen gear, whatever it is that you need, refrigerator, stoves, things like that. So that's Restaurant Depot. But the rest of them you can absolutely join. I would absolutely join one of those, BJ's or Sam Club, because you can make the dollar stretch a lot further there. Though, there are a lot of supermarkets here in New York City, for example, like Food Bazaar, Seatown, I'm forgetting the other two, that you can go there and they're selling you bulk bag of rice and beans. That's obviously what you're going to want to go for, is the bulk bag of rice and beans. Now, I haven't seen a lot of rice and beans in bulk, that is, in BJ's or Costco's, but when you go to these smaller supermarkets, you could spend $25 for a 50-pound bag of beans, or $40 on a bag of rice. Depends on the rice, depends on the beans, sorry. So obviously, the $600 you're going to want to buy more preps. The more preps you should buy are, we're going to start from the top, beans, right? Beans is the go-to, provides the nutrients, or some of the nutrients you're going to need. It definitely is good for a protein-based diet, right? That being said, carb and protein-based diets. That being said, you have to buy in bulk when it comes to beans. I mean, yes, if you see canned beans on a shelf and they're offering, 5 for, $3, buy those. But I would start with the bigger items first. I would start with the bulk bag of beans, the bulk bag of rice. Now, when it comes to beans, not all prices are the same if you're going to buy in 20 or 50-pound bags of beans, right? Depends on the beans, depends on where you live. If you live in New York City or California, that same 50-pound bag of beans might be $30 or $40 here in New York and California. Whereas you go to somewhere a little slower or less amount of people, again, like let's say down south somewhere, you'll probably get that same 50-pound bag of beans for $25, right? So now you're saving a ton of money, depends on where you live. You have to keep that in mind. Also, with beans, if you're going to buy pinto, black beans, red beans, right, kidney beans, those are priced differently across the board. So you're looking at 50-pound bags or 20-pound bags of beans. You got to keep in mind that pinto, black beans, red beans are not all priced the same. They are different. Therefore, you're also going to want to go with what might be cheaper and what you can tolerate. Some people don't like pinto beans. Some people don't like black beans. But if you can tolerate them and they're cheaper, go for those. Also with beans, the brand of beans also count, the branding company, right? So if you're looking for, like, say, Goya beans, it might be cheaper than some organic company beans. So you got to look at that as well. That plays into the pricing as well. If you trust Goya, you go with Goya, right? But if you trust the organic company, you're going to go with the organic company. Keep in mind, as long as you can afford it, because organic shit is higher in price. So keep that in mind. Rice. Rice is another, not complicated, but it's what you want to buy in rice is how much you're going to spend. Obviously, it also depends on where the rice comes from. If the rice comes from China or Vietnam or Thailand, it's going to be priced differently. Even if it's the same kind of rice, even if it's basmati rice, for example. If it's basmati rice or jasmine rice, those rices are different prices. Again, depends on where it comes from. If it comes from India, it's going to be priced differently. So keep that in mind when you're looking at rice. Also looking at the brand. If it's an organic company versus Uncle Ben's, for example, right? Uncle Ben's rice, you can get, if I'm not mistaken, 10 pounds and 20-pound rice. I haven't seen 50-pound bag of rice on Uncle Ben, but if you can get it, get it. But you got to keep in mind that organic rice is going to cost you more. So if you can afford it, absolutely do it. Try to get away from the processed or GMO stuff as much as possible. But if you can't, and that's all you can afford, guess what, guys? Eat the GMO rice. The whole, like, GMO organic, that's another conversation for a different day. I'd rather not get into it. But nonetheless, if you want to prolong your health, you're going to want to try to get away from GMO shit as much as possible. With rice, like I said, prices are different. If you're looking at, let's say, long grain rice, jasmine rice, basmati rice, wild rice, brown rice, those rices are priced differently. Now, brown rice doesn't last as long when you save it, but it does buy you some time. So, I mean, you can absolutely buy brown rice, and you just have to eat that a little faster and get to it quicker before you get to the long grain white rice. So keep that in mind. You can absolutely put brown rice in your food stores, but you might have to get to that quicker than the other rice. Just keep that in mind. Also, things you should look to buy, pastas. If you go into any supermarket now, at least here in New York, you go to the pasta section, they're pretty much giving boxes away of pasta. So stock up on those if you can, right? Not if you can, do it. Stock up on that as much as you can. Stock up on canned goods, whatever the canned goods is. Like I mentioned earlier, beans. If beans are on sale, 5 for like $2, buy the fucking beans, 5 for $2, right? If the canned vegetables, which are not really good for you, but it's something, buy those on sale. Try to look for all the canned goods on sale first before you entertain anything else. Chef Boyardee is forever on sale. Granted, again, not the greatest source of food, but nonetheless, it'll keep you alive. They're always on sale, so look for that. Pastas, again, they're always on sale. No matter what brand you're going to buy, normally they're on sale. Obviously, the organic brands are never on sale for the obvious reasons, but go for the cheaper ones. It's going to sustain you just the same. Now, sugars, salts, condiments, items like that, flour, go for those as well. Put that away if you can. Those are they are on sale sometimes. Look for the sale item first. Sugar is normally on sale with the cheaper brand versus the, Domino, right? Domino's like never on sale. And if it is, buy it, right? Look at organic sugar as well. I buy organic sugar for the last 3-4 years. I've been buying it because, again, the processed sugar is no good. Again, different subject for a different day. When it comes to salt, look at regular salt, look at sea salt, look at pink Himalayan salt. Look at those salt as well. They're expensive, they're a little expensive, but you can buy a little at a time every time you go shopping and add to your food stores. Keep in mind, guys, the bulk shopping is what you want to do. You want to concentrate on all the bulk items. The rice, the beans, the flour, the the sugars and things like that. But specialty items like pink sea salt or sea salt, you can buy one container at a time, adding to your stores. Pink salt is better for the body because pink salt breaks down in the human body a lot faster and easier than iodine salt. The reason why people get headaches when they eat regular salt is because the body's trying to break down the iodine, and it has a hard time doing it and stresses the blood in the body, and that's why you get the headaches. Now, try to get yourself a vacuum sealer. If you can, try to get a used one on eBay. The new ones are pretty expensive. They're like $150, at least with the vacuum sealing company I use. It's expensive now. The new models like $150 or $160, whatever it is. But if you food saver or vacuum sealing device is going to prolong your food, it is worth the investment. Trust me. It can make your food last for a while. The only downside to vacuum sealing your food is that the food tends to take on the plasticky taste of the bag you use. So you keep that in mind. You can also put it in glass jars. If you live in the city and you have a rodent problem, like the building I live in, you might want to use glass jars to keep the rats and the rodents from eating into it. I learned my lesson the hard way. I go into my fucking doomsday closet, my end of the world closet. I go in there and I see rice trailed around. I was like, shit, I already knew what happened. So obviously mice were having a party with rice in my closet. So I started putting them in glass jars. And then what I did was I put it in a vacuum sealed bag and put the vacuum sealed bags in a container that they couldn't chew through. Rats can chew through anything, but mice can't. So there is a difference. If they're chewing through your plastic bin, you have rats. Right? If they're chewing, if they can't chew through the plastic bins, then you have mice. And you'll see little nips and shit here and there. And they give up pretty quickly because it's a lot for them to eat. So like I said, vacuum seal pastas and rice. You can even vacuum seal salt, sugar. Flour you can do as well. It's a little harder, but it's doable. But those are the items that you should be vacuum sealing if you want to prolong them. Again, if not, if you have jars to spare, put them in the glass jars and stack them on your shelves. Again, vacuum seals are worth the weight in gold. Other things you can do with your $600 if you're squared away with a lot of the grocery items, look at FreezeDried Foods. I have 2 FreezeDried Food links in the link below, but you can also go with premium FreezeDried Food. There is a difference. There's a company that I just started buying from called Peak Refuel. I use that for camping because each packet is expensive. So each packet is about $14. That's pretty high priced. The packets look like this, and again, $14 a pack. It starts to add up after a while. But what you can do is buy the freeze-dried food companies that I actually am an affiliate of. One is Nutrient Survival, which is a very good freeze-dried food company with the nutrients, the amino acids, and the vitamins you need. And the other one is my Patriot food supply. Both of them taste good. What you can wind up doing with both of them, because they don't come with meat like the premium ones do, you can add meat to it as you're cooking it. Right? So if you're cooking, let's say the Alfredo, noodle Alfredo, you can add chicken to it if you want. You can add shrimp or beef, which I've heard a few people add beef to it. Do whatever you want with those. You can style it up the way you want. So they're giving you a base, and you can add to that base, whereas premium freeze-dried food puts everything in it for you already. And again, it's premium cut, but you are spending way more for premium freeze-dried foods like Peak Refuel than you would if you used Nutrient Survival or My Patriot Food Supply or Wise Foods. Whichever one you want to buy, guys, buy it. Whichever fits your budget, buy it. If you want to buy Peak Refuel, by all means. Keep in mind it's more expensive per pack. But if you want to buy, again, Nutrient Survival, buy what you can, guys. Buy whatever fits your budget. It doesn't have to be the ones I'm an affiliate with. Just buy whatever fits your budget. MREs. MREs are great to buy, but they are expensive by the case. I bought cases upon cases of MREs. I've eaten some over the years, not a lot of them. They don't taste bad, especially the newer ones that came out within the last, I think, 2-3 years. They taste good. They're getting better at the tasting game, if you will. So you can definitely look into that. Be careful when you buy MREs from eBay, because eBay are independent sellers, and some of them, they mark up the price, and others, you get into a bidding war. And the problem with bidding war is it becomes an ego thing. So be careful with bidding on eBay for MREs, freeze-dried foods, or whatever it is. It turns into an ego war, and then that's how they usually get you. They get you with the ego thing, not the fucking, I really need this. At some point, you're like, I don't need $60 case, but fuck that dude, I'm going to outprice him. And that's what winds up happening. It happened with me, because I'm a fucking asshole. So do yourself a favor, when you're on eBay, be careful of, be careful of buying your MREs on eBay. If you can go through like a military surplus store, by all means go through them. It's less of a headache. So everything else too, guys, if you can find jars, buy more jars. Like anything else, guys, stretch the dollar. Now, buying more jars to jar your food, to can them, that's great. But keep in mind, that's going to be more money. So if you already have enough food, then absolutely buy jarring supplies, or canning supplies, sorry, and can your own shit. Prolongs your food. Dehydrate your stuff if you can. Buy a bunch of fruits, dehydrate them, store those away. Put them in a jar with the vacuum sealing pack, drop it in there, and done, right? And keep doing that. Oxygen absorbers, sorry, not a vacuum sealing pack, oxygen absorbers. You can get a pack of those, drop them in the jars, and you're good to go, right? It preserves it for a little while, not forever, for a little while. But again, look into dehydrating stuff. You want to make this dollar stretch as far as it possibly can, because the problem with it is that you only have $600 to play with. So you gotta make it stretch as far as you possibly can, because we might not be getting another stimulus check, guys. I think this is it, and if there is one more left, I think the next one might be a little lower. It might be. Or they could be generous and make it higher. But the other issue is that the more money they keep giving us, at some point, we're gonna have to pay that back. Or the financial system might collapse. It's either or. You can't get both out of this one. Anyway, guys, this was it. This was a long video. I do apologize for it, but nonetheless, I think it needed to be done, because $600, guys, I know people are complaining, fuck, it's only $600, but you could do a lot of damage with $600. All right? So try to look at the brighter side of it. You know, I mean, I know in the beginning of the video, I was like, you know, you should have got $2,000. Yes, you should have got $2,000, but fuck it, $600, you could still do damage with the $600, right? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Life gives you $600, you make that shit stretch for months, if not years, right? Food-wise, that is. Now, as far as water, the reason why I didn't touch on water, because water, which I should have touched on earlier, water you can actually bottle yourself. You get a water container and you bottle it yourself, depending on where you live. Here in New York right now, they switched reservoirs, so our water tastes a little weird, but it's still drinkable, and I haven't turned into a zombie yet, so it's still good. So I still bottle our water. If you have water, you have functioning water supply, bottle it. If you live in one of those places where the water is contaminated, buy bottles of water, all right? And buy filters. Above all else, buy filters, buy water filtering systems, and buy bottled water if you live in a contaminated area. That is going to cut into your money, but you need to drink water, guys. You can't go without it. All right, guys, this is the Angryprepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And other than that, thank you for watching.